We have from Arrow Video a 1988 film that I'd never heard of. It is a film that tells the tale of a woman who is having these strange, are they dreams, are they visions, are they premonitions of horrifying and strange and surreal and nightmarish imagery? Are they real? Is somebody trying to drive her crazy? Is she going crazy? Did she have some bad beef before bed? This is Dream Demon. So I grew up watching monster movies, later horror movies, but mostly monster movies as a kid on TV and on cable and on video and all that. And you know, my era was growing up in the late 70s, well through the 80s. I don't have a huge amount of love for the 80s, just, you know, out of the gate, just because it's the 80s. And I especially actually have sort of an antipathy. I don't care for specifically the aesthetic of the late 80s into the 90s. It just, something about it bugs me. So this is a film I hadn't heard of. I might have seen the video box cover because I was haunting video stores around that time, but it wasn't one that I knew about. And seeing that it was from 1988 made me go, ooh, this could be a little rough. This is pretty cool overall. This, if you like 80s horror, this gives you a lot of that vibe and that style. It works really well. As I said, it's this woman who's having these visions. She's in this, you know, house, and she's seeing this little girl, and she's seeing weird creatures, and things are morphing, very, very inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street. This wouldn't exist, I don't think, if the Nightmare on Elm Street series hadn't been going pretty strong by the time 1988 rolled around. But it's done really well. It's done really well with the surreal imagery and a scene starting off normal and suddenly it gets really weird. And again, it's the question, is she dreaming? Is it some kind of evil force? Is it a hallucination? Is it reality? What's going on here? And ultimately you find out. So it handles the nightmare imagery really well, the surreal imagery really well. It's pretty well done. For me, it falls apart when these, I don't care for like rubbery makeup effects and facial appliances. A lot of films of that era do that, and it just yanks me right out of it. And that's what happened here, is whenever there was a heavy makeup effect on a certain character, it just looked silly to me. And it looked phony and weird. Now, yes, I know I'm watching a movie, it's fiction, but certain things can break the spell for me, and to me that did. So some of its very, very 1988-ness took me out of the film. Now that might be, those elements might be what somebody loves about this movie. So I'm just talking about me. But it's well made. The story is interesting. It features Timothy Spall, who you would recognize from innumerable things from the 80s onward. I think he's in a couple of the Harry Potter movies, I think. And he's a very recognizable British actor. So anyway, I thought this was interesting. I have notes that I took, and because I watched this so long ago, pardon me, it's not very professional, but who says I'm getting paid for this? Okay, so that's all I have to say about the film proper. It was very interesting. Good Friday night movie, good movie with friends. It's a good pizza and orange soda movie to watch with the lights out. It was fun. It just wasn't anything that moved me wonderfully and terribly. It just it held my interest throughout, except when those effects showed up. So this is Arrow. And if you don't know Arrow Video, I said a little bit earlier, and I say it every time, but if you're new, Arrow Video is a British company who does really nice new editions of films that haven't been seen in a while, or they take classics and they give you the best edition you've ever seen. They generally do new transfers so the films look better than they ever have, and they usually pile on the extras. This is one of those cases. This is a newly restored and tweaked version of Dream Demon. There's an introduction by the director who comes on and says that, basically, newly revised. You can watch the original theatrical version or a new director's cut, and there are so many, it makes me giggle. You're looking at the extras and there's an arrow up and down, so it's pages of, you know, links to watch stuff. And it was just like pages and pages of extras on this. There's vintage behind the scenes, modern interviews with everybody they could find who had anything to do with this movie. On and on and on and on. This is loaded. So if you're a fan of Dream Demon, I can't imagine there ever has been or will be an edition that's going to top this. And if you watch this movie and like it, there's a ton of information to give you context for this movie and how it came to be. And if you hate it and you're like, what the hell was this? Well, there's all kinds of extras that allows the film to explain itself. So Dream Demon is out now via Arrow Video on Blu-ray.